So friends, here we are at the end of our school year, basically. Today is the last school mass. Someone said it for me, the last school mass. Very good, the last school mass. This year, did it feel like it went fast? Who thinks it went fast? Who feels like it went slow? Teachers, fast or slow? Fast, teachers? Yeah, that's right. Parents, grandparents, fast, slow, fast. A lot of us think fast, right? Okay, well, not only is it our last school mass, but it's also for our 8th graders the last school mass that they'll be with us as students at Sacred Heart of Jesus School. Raise your hand if you're, as an 8th grader, if you've been here since kindergarten. Okay, hands down. Raise your hand if you got here in 1st grade, 2nd grade, 3rd grade, 4th grade, 5th grade, 6th grade, 7th grade. Okay. And Kat, you came in 8th grade. Where are you, Kat? There you are. Yeah. Okay. All right. It's amazing. It's wild how time just flies by all of a sudden, that you think you're never going to get there, then all of a sudden, boom, here we are at the end of the year. Boom, here we are at the end of your time at Sacred Heart. This Sunday will be, this Sunday is the anniversary of when I was ordained a priest. So I was ordained a priest on May 21st, 2016, and you go through 9 years of seminary training, so whole 9 years of schooling, and you think, it's never gonna get here. And then boom, there you are, nose down on the marble floor of the cathedral getting ordained, and then boom, it's now 7 years later. It's just crazy. It's crazy, crazy, crazy. So what I want to do real quick before we talk about a little bit about the gospel, a little bit about our 8th graders, I just want to recap the year a little bit for us. Who can remind me what our theme has been this year? Who can remind me? Do you remember what it is? Okay, Pax? That's you got them reversed, but those are the right words, you just got them flipped. Behold what you are, become what you receive. Behold what you are, become what you receive. Behold what you are, become what you receive. This whole year, between different homilies and different experiences, what we've been trying to do is we've tried to reflect deeply on this mystery of the Eucharist. We've been wanting to invite us to go deeper. Remember how all this year we're like, we want to go deep. Say deep. Deep. We want to go deep. Yeah, we wanted to go deeper this year in our faith, deeper in our understanding of the Eucharist, deeper in our appreciation for adoration. I know we've had amazing experiences this year with falling in love with Jesus in the Blessed Sacrament, falling in love with adoration, being able to pray and sit in silence. We've had amazing experiences of falling in love deeper and deeper with Jesus in the Eucharist. Our 2nd graders, you just made your first communion, right? Falling in love with Jesus in the Eucharist. And I guess one of the questions is why would God give us this gift of the Eucharist? It's because he's a God who keeps his promises. I'm going to put it this way. He's a God who keeps his promises. Say promises. He's a God who keeps his promises. Listen, this is from the gospel we just heard, right? So Jesus, he's with his apostles. This is before he suffers his passion, so before his crucifixion, before his death, before all of it. So he's preparing them. He's telling them, listen, things are going to get dark. I'm going to get taken away from you. He's preparing them for what's coming. Right? And he says, a little while and you no longer see me. I'm going to be taken away from you. And then he says this, and again, a little while later, you will see me. I'm going to come back to you. And I'm never going to leave you. Right? He gave us the Eucharist because he's a God who keeps his promises. In a little while, you're not going to see me. In a little while, then you will see me. He gave us the Eucharist so that we would always have access to him. He gave us the Eucharist so that he would always have access to us. So he could remain with us, right? Because after his passion, his death, his resurrection, what we celebrate this Sunday is his ascension when he returns to the Father, where he goes back to the Trinity, where he returns to the Father. So his physical body, his humanity is not with us like it was for those 3 years of his earthly ministry, for those 33 years of his life. He goes back to the Father, but he says, I still want to be with you. So he gives us the Eucharist so he can stay with us, so we can stay with him. I think about this, 8th graders, just like Jesus, in a little while, we could say, in a little while, you'll no longer see me, Sacred Heart School, right? In a little while, you're not going to be walking through our halls anymore. In a little while, you're not going to be sitting next to your buddies. In a little while, you're not going to be being goofballs in the hallways. In a little while, we're not going to hear Sebastian doing Sebastian things in the hallway, right? In a little while, these things are going to come to an end. We won't see you anymore. Yeah, we're going to still remember you. You're unforgettable, right? We're going to still remember you, and we'll be reminded of you. And maybe there's going to even be pictures of you, I don't know, in the school somewhere. I don't know if that's true. Maybe true. But you're not going to be there next year, right? You are departing, you're leaving to go somewhere else, to different high schools. And we'll remember you, like I said, but you will not be there next year. And that's a good thing. It's a good thing. Yeah, we're sad because you guys are awesome leaders and have been so great this year, but you're not going to be there. Wouldn't it be wild if you could still be there, though? Like that's the thing that Jesus does. Like he leaves, but he also stays. He goes away, but he remains. That's the miracle of this crazy thing called the Eucharist. He departs to go back to the Father, and he stays in the Eucharist. Like the Eucharist is not just like, it's not like a picture of Jesus. It's not just simply something that we remember him by. Like, oh yeah, remember when Jesus was here? That was pretty great. No, the Eucharist is him. It's not like a picture of him that reminds us of him. It's not a statue of him that reminds us of him. It's not a story about him that reminds us of him. It is him. Like the same Jesus 2,000 years ago, guys, the same Jesus 2,000 years ago who was with his apostles, who is talking in this gospel. In a little while, you're not going to see me. And again, in a little while, you will see me. That same Jesus who spoke 2,000 years ago is here. He's never left. At every Catholic church, he stays because he loves us. Because he loves us. Friends, back to my 8th graders. This whole year, in class with you, I've been returning again and again to this quote from St. Augustine. You're going to fill it in for me. You have made us for yourself, O Lord, and our hearts are restless until they rest in you. St. Augustine, writing in the 4th, 5th century, he said this, you have made us for yourself, O Lord, and our hearts are restless until they rest in you. Here's the truth, and this is what we've been talking about all year, that the world, everyone in the world, is looking for that something to fill and complete their hearts. And everyone looks in all sorts of directions. But I promise you, and I've said this to you before, and I'm going to say it again, the only thing that perfectly matches our heart, the only thing that perfectly satisfies, that perfectly fulfills, and brings us the kind of life we want is friendship with Jesus. Is relationship with Jesus. If this school has taught you nothing else but this, then we've been a success. That if you hold on to this, that no matter where you go, no matter what you do, it's friendship with Jesus that will bring you to the life that you dream about. It's the Eucharist. If you don't have the Eucharist in the center of your life, if you're not fighting constantly to keep the Eucharist in the center of your life, everything else will fall apart. Keep him in the center. Fight for him to be in the center. Everything else follows after that. So 8th graders, you're going to be missed terribly next year, but you are so loved. And of course, you're welcome to come back and visit. You're an awesome class, and we're going to miss you a lot.